Testing, 1, 2, 3. Check, check. Is this thing on? Hello? Are we going to talk about Skype for the entire show? I sure hope not. I sure hope not. One of the interesting things about this studio is that I have this giant, well, it's not giant, it's about a 4-foot articulating boom arm that I have the camera on. But I have the camera, I mean, so anytime I shake this surface, the camera just bounces all around. But the camera is set for that image stabilization thing. So even though it's shaking right there, it's still a good shot. Hey, how is everybody? Who's here? Let's see. Kevin's here. Giles is here. Steve Brown is here. Welcome, Steve Brown. Jens is here. The wife is here. All right. Merle's here. All right. Prashana's here. Rich is here. Troy T from OB. Troy T, OB. Would that be Orange Beach, like Orange Beach, Alabama? Wow. Guest 31 High I. That must be Jill. Edward, I hope you got your upgrade key okay. Martin K is here. Martin and I have been exchanging emails. John's here. Henri, Chris Watts, Dave, Mike, 422. 422. Oh, yeah, that's the video thing. Kent. All right. Your title says, today's show, Skype broke, don't blame me. Well, it's broken for everybody, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. All right. So there's sound, and I don't know what's going on with YouTube today. YouTube is having a bad day. They are 31 seconds behind. Generally, it's about 11 seconds. So you guys can see based on the little clock right here. And who was it that was telling about the clock? John, was that you? Let's look back here. And whoever gave me the tip last week about disabling the automatic thing over here that was great. Yes, John. It was John that gave me the timer string. Thank you. I've been struggling with that. It's just one of those things that you think about doing, and it's nice to do, but you don't have time to do it, and you know, blah, blah, blah. I guess I could take the seconds off. We really don't care about the seconds. I'd like to take the leading 0 off, too. That would be fun so that it kind of looked, I guess maybe if I put it in 24-hour format and it was 1:58 in the morning, it wouldn't have a 0. Or maybe it would. Yeah, I guess it would. Okay, Ty's here. Hello, Ty. 29-second delay. Yes, I'm sorry for that. And, you know, the deal with the delay is, what that means is that the chat, in terms of me responding to what you say, or you responding to what I say, you know, we're 30 seconds behind each other. Can you imagine a conversation where each one of you had to pause for 30 seconds before you could respond? Not bad. Oh, John wants the seconds. Oh, yeah, of course. So you can time the delay. I got you. So you can see, you want every second you can get with you. What is this? John's wife, is he like that with you? Is he that nice to you all the time? Ah, lemonade. All right, well, this morning I woke up thinking that today was going to be a terrible, oh, wait, I got to get that thing. Sorry about this. Hold on. I've been waiting for this video to upload to Dropbox so that it can download to this PC. And let's see if it did it. Yay! There it is. Okay. So you guys get to, yeah, let's do it live. I mean, we got what, we got 1 minute and 47 seconds. Well, never mind. We're not going to do it live. I just need to scrub through real quick. Bing, 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 bing. So we'll start there. Mark in. And that's about About 9 minutes. Okay. All right. Whew, I did that quickly. That was nice. All right, let's see. What did I miss? 27 seconds, says Giles. Dangerous question, says John's wife. Kevin has the perfect solution. See, y'all gotta keep an eye on Kevin. Kevin is an up and coming, probably already up, and has already arrived, whereas the rest of folks like me are just struggling. Kevin says we just need to type your comments 29 seconds sooner. So just do a little, a little prophecy of what I'm going to say, and it'll work. All right? Right. Okay. Oh, wow. It's 2 o'clock. It's showtime. Wow. How did this all slip up on us? It's just one of those things where all of a sudden it's showtime, and I'm not ready. Are you? Gee whiz. All right. Let's see who else slipped in before we get started. Guest 180, welcome. Remember, guest 180 is our turnaround guy. And looks like the only one that slipped in. Kent has to work at this time, but sometimes he just keeps us on in the background, so he can't always respond. All right, John's wife. No, he is a loving, kind husband that keeps up with my craziness, and I will stick with his answer no matter how much you poke me with pointy sticks. John, she's a keeper. Hang on to that cow for sure. Okay. All right, well, let's shoot. What the heck? Let's dive into the middle of this show, shall we? And see what kind of damage we can't do. Giles has tried to cause trouble there. Okay. All right. Last check of the attendance to see who's present and accounted for today. All right. All right. What was it you said? Is Tom giddy today? Yes, Tom's giddy. I've got new toys in the studio. I'm so excited. Oh goodness. All right. So let's get started. Shall we? Yeah, we can do that. We can do. We are professionals. Okay, so we're going to fade to black, and then we're going to get everything geared up on this end. I'm going to drop my mic. We'll get the show started. Y'all sit tight. I'll be right back. Hey there, I'm Tom Sinclair, and you have arrived at Streaming Idiots. I'm not quite sure how you got here, and in some cases you may be saying, I don't know that I want to stay. No, I'm just teasing. Welcome to Streaming Idiots. Today, this is the show about live streaming. Whatever your passion is, taking that passion and through video and audio, making it available to the whole world over the internet. How cool is that? I'm excited. I get excited about it because I get to do this show every single week. If you'd like to do a show like this and you're not quite sure how, shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com. We can chat about it. There are all sorts of cool things out there that like vMix software and PTZ optics, PTZ cams, and Magwell capture cards that, these are companies that we represent because we market these things as well as build and install custom PCs all over the U.S. And Canada. Sorry, Sean, didn't want to forget about Canada. So we get all the advertising out of the way. Really interesting show today. We've got some news. Well, it's not news to a lot of people, but some news about Skype. We've got some news about IBC. We've got some news about some competition. There is a competing show to Streaming Idiots warming up in the bullpen. We'll tell you about that one in just a few minutes. Also about this concept that I've been working with on a $100, you may have seen my tweet on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you need to, Eastern Shore Broadcasting or something like that. Go to our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and there's some links to the Twitter feed where you can sign up for that and the Facebook stuff so that you can keep up with the day-to-day things, because this show only happens once a week. Golly gee. Anyway, you may have seen my tweet about the $100 capture card, HD capture card, 4 ports. So we're working on that. In fact, we've got a show coming up at the end of September. I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. And we're also going to have some reports from IBC that is happening in Amsterdam, I believe starting on September 9th, going through the 13th. So we'll have some more about that in just a few minutes. But hey, if you're watching us on YouTube live, we're delighted you're here. But let's see, I think I've got the little thing here. Will it pop in just right? Let's just try it. Almost. If you're watching us on YouTube, join the show at easternshorebroadcasting.com, because then you can get access to the chat thing. Here's my pre-show. This is my little kind of pre-show when it's before the show. We talk like this, and there's the chat room, and the folks in the chat room get to chat about all sorts of things. And then after the show, yes, that's right, there is a post-show where there's the chat too. But if you'd like to see the chat during the show, you need to go to easternshorebroadcasting.com and go to the Watch Live page, and then there'll be the chat and this picture on there at the same time. Sorry, spent much more time explaining that than I needed to, but that's okay. All right. No, I haven't had any coffee today. I'm just excited. It's just so great to do this show. I'm just so excited about it. For those of you that use Skype as a way to bring in a guest to your show, you've probably already discovered that Skype is broken, and that Skype has problems receiving this image and sending it back to your guest. vMix will output all of this in something called the external output. That makes sense, external output. And then in Skype will see this external output from vMix as a camera source called vMix Video. Well, that makes sense. And then you can pick up your audio from your mixer or your mic or wherever. That doesn't have to come through vMix. But with Skype version, where is it? 7.27 point something. But the important is 7.27. With version 7.27, which got pushed out in the last week or 10 days, it broke this ability for the vMix Video to become the video source for Skype, or the camera source for Skype. Now, you can fix this by, drum roll, don't hear any drums, oh well. You can fix this by reverting to a previous version of Skype. How do you do that? Well, you're looking for Skype.26.0.101. And if you're watching us on YouTube after the fact, I'm going to put the link to that down here in the show notes. If you're watching live, I'm going to put the link to that in the chat here at the end of the show, so don't let me forget to do that. And if you can't wait, you can go to the vMix forum, and there's a link all about this there's a thread all about this that has a link in it to 7.26.0.101. Now, Skype, they're nice people. They are nice people, and they don't want things to be broken. So certainly they're going to fix this soon, right? We would hope so. Anyway, really, so we're changing the channel here, going to the next thing. Next thing is coming up next week, and generally we don't do next week announcements in the middle of the show, but I I just couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Next week, coming up next week, we are going to have Dan Slider, who is the director of marketing for Pi Engineering. Now you say, why is that important? Well, Pi Engineering, they're the folks that produce the X Keys series, the X Keys lines of controllers, like, yes, that's right, the XKE-24 T-Bar controller that works with vMix. And you've got all these buttons and a T-bar and all this stuff. So next week, we're going to be talking all about this guy, running it through its paces. I just got it yesterday. Excuse me. I haven't had a chance to do anything. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet, but I can't wait. Look at all those buttons. Isn't that great? And a T-bar. T-bar doesn't do anything at this point because I don't have it configured properly, but just, I mean, oh, golly. Ooh, I might have to come back in tonight after my wife's gone to bed. And no, I'm teasing. I was like, this guy's gone nuts, completely nuts. I haven't even had coffee today. It's great. Okay, so next week, that's September 7th, Dan Slider, Director of Marketing, Pi Engineering, will be here to talk about the T-Bar, and we'll talk about it. We'll be using it. We'll be showing you how to do it. If you can't wait for that, there is a video on YouTube that Tim from vMix did. So if you go to the vMix channel on YouTube and scroll through until you see the XKE 124 T-Bar, excuse me, T-Bar, I think it's even a tutorial, sorry, of how to set it up. Basically, it's just setting up shortcuts and assigning shortcuts to the different keys. The different keys. Ooh, okay. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so that's next week. You don't want to miss it. Let's talk, the 4-port capture card for under $100. Okay, have I got your attention on that one? Everybody wants, I mean, wouldn't that be just the holy grail of capture cards, a 4-port high-definition capture card for under $100 that you could buy at Best Buy? Hey, now. That's great. All right, now, what does it mean? Well, you got to have a certain kind of camera, you got to have certain kind of software. There are some requirements for that. But there are probably some people out there that are smart enough to figure out how to get around some of that. Let's say that you had, let's don't even say. Coming up later in September, Dan Richards from PTZ Optics is going to be on this show, and we're going to demonstrate how his PTZ Optics cameras can be controlled and switched, controlled as in pan, tilt, zoom, and switched from camera to camera to camera, not using a capture card. It's all through, yes, you've already guessed it by now, a gigabit switch. Yes, but not just any gigabit switch. This is a gigabit switch that has PoE, power over Ethernet. So it essentially means you're running one wire, one little cable. Do I have one here? No, I don't have an Ethernet cable on the desk. But it's just a small cable. One cable is going to carry video to the PC. It's going to carry control to the camera to tell the camera what to do. And it's going to carry power to the camera. All over just, 4 twisted pair? Amazing, amazing. And that's going to take capture cards and reduce their market share, unfortunately, for our friends at Magwell and Black Magic. It's not that. It's going to be great for the consumer. In fact, I'm writing proposals right now for two different churches that we're going to use this concept of putting in a switch and running Cat 5, Cat 6 to all these locations, so that we have to run one wire, and we've got power, and we've got signal, and we've got control. And it's going to cost, we're using a special PoE switch, which we'll talk about in that show coming up. But they're, $150 for a 7-port PoE switch. Not a big deal, really, when you talk about that versus a Magwell Pro Capture Quad SDI for, $900. Different ball game. Okay, so that's coming up. At some point in later later in September, probably the 21st or the 28th. We'll let you know more next week. Coming up on September 14th will be a report from IBC, and I'm really excited about this. Martin Kay is in the live audience today, and Martin and I are Martin's doing the work, and I'm taking the I'm either taking the heat or the glory, depending on how it comes out. But Martin is going to be going as a representative from Streaming Idiots, among other places, to IBC and interviewing some folks and bringing it back. And anyway, you won't want to miss it. That'll be 2 weeks from today. So that'll be really cool. And, there'll probably be some really interesting things at IBC, probably tons of NDI stuff. The Bird Dog TV folks, these are the folks that make the little box. This is a box that's going to be, I don't know, this big maybe, and it's going to mount on the end of a camera, and it's going to plug in SDI or HDMI into the camera, and then you can plug your Ethernet into it right there. Now, it's probably not going to be a PoE device, although that would be a good addition to it if it were. And it obviously is not going to control the camera, since it would be just a fixed camera. But anyway, hopefully we can get some more information about those folks and find out when they're shipping, all those kinds of things. We'll see. vMix will not be, well, they might, but I don't think they'll be announcing version 18. Just this past Monday, they did a live show. They do a live show every month, so they just got this one under the wire. And they're doing a live, they did their live show, had some more announcements about vMix 18, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that right now. Right now. Don't forget, and we're going to close out the show talking about the competition to this show. I'm really upset about that, and I need some help from you guys as to how to make that work. But vMix, in their Fun Time live show on this past Monday, their Fun Time live show for August, which you can see at the vMix website. I think you have to kind of navigate through a bunch of stuff, where if you go to YouTube, it just search vMix and then go into their videos, and you'll see the Fun Time live show for August. You can watch the whole thing. But here is a clip from that show that I think is probably worth watching. So let's, with no further ado, and hopefully I've got everything set right on it. Let's see, let's turn the audio on there, and because I just loaded this up right before showtime, and I haven't even previewed it here. Oh, but that's what this show is all about. This show is about how not to do stuff. I was talking to somebody this morning, and they broadcast junior college sports, and they were struggling with something, and there were a couple of upgrades that they could make, but things were working 95%, and they have a game tomorrow night. And I said, well, you could do the Windows 10 anniversary update, and you could update to vMix 17, and you could update your NVIDIA drivers, but you might want to, if you were me, if I were you, I'd be doing all that today and then regretting it tomorrow night when I had an unintended consequence. But for you, I'd say, wait until you get past tomorrow night's broadcast, then do those one at a time and check it out. So, of course, that's not, I don't take my own advice. I want you to do as I say, not as I do. I mean, I for your own sake. I mean, don't do what I do because I do it, because if it breaks for me, it's probably going to break for you too. Long way of saying, I just downloaded this video. I have done some, what would you call it? Not editing, I've just marked an in point and out point in vMix, which is really easy to do. So right now the whole thing is queued up. And I think we've talked about that in a show, and vMix as too. Anyway, let's, with no further ado, we're going to flash over to Martin and Tim as they talk about the hamburger menu, and then they introduce data sauces, and let's see what happens. Let's see if it works. It works! Yay!
Hamburger menu is here. So everybody that's been counting down the days, finally we're going to announce the hamburger menu for vMix 18. So I hope everybody's excited about that. You'll notice that it has the three little lines, which usually means it's like mobile optimized websites. have the three little lines, which is colloquially called. I shouldn't have said that.
Colloquially.
It's
Yeah, you
impossible.
made me.
A
Yes.
hamburger menu. That's what they call them in mobile development for menus on mobile websites. So we thought, hey, we shouldn't not have any like a food menu on ours. So we've included the hamburger menu for vMix 18. So that's it. That's the new feature.
Is that really all you're going to announce?
Yes. I think so. Is that it? Actually, on the hamburger menu, you'll be able to access vMix Social, and you'll also be able to access the title designer, which makes things super easy. So yeah, that's very exciting. A new menu.
That's it?
Actually, no, that's not it.
So, yes, data sources. This is what all of our talk of hamburger menus, if you're not confused now, you might be very soon, because the hamburger menu, which is just really a name for a menu that has that unique icon you see in mobile devices, as Tim already said, the hamburger menu will not have 3D hamburgers rotating around your production. But wouldn't that be amazing if that's all it did?
It would be amazing. I have a burger button on my X keys that I can press.
It is all about data sources. And I'm going to just jump right into it with a desktop capture today to show you how the data sources works. And before I do that, I'm just going to clear out what we were playing around with yesterday. So we'll just make sure that that's all cleared out. So jumping to the desktop capture, and we'll show you what data sources is all about. So this is our production for today. You can see, it's just a standard vMix setup. Things don't look that much different from vMix 17, except for the magical hamburger button down here in the corner. So I'm just going to click that hamburger button, and you can see what it has at the moment. It has vMix Social, it has vMix Title Designer, and it has the brand new Data Sources Manager. So the idea behind this button is hopefully as we add new, is what I would call modules or plugins for vMix, you can access them all from this menu. And we're going to just jump right into Data Sources Manager. And I'll give you a bit of an overview of what data sources is all about. Now at the moment, when you add titles to vMix and you want to edit the text, you have to go into the title and edit it manually. If you want to add in Twitter posts, Twitter tweets, Facebook comments, Instagram photos, you can do all of that using vMix Social. So you have all of your social media currently covered in vMix right now. But say you want the data coming from somewhere else. Perhaps you have your own scoreboard system that has the format in text files, XML, things like that. You can use data sources to link those up. Data sources supports text, XML, spreadsheets, including Excel spreadsheets, CSV files, and Google Sheets, and it does all this live. So anytime you update any of those data sources, whether they're on the other side of the world or whether they're on your laptop right next to you, they will automatically update the data live within vMix. So we'll just do a very quick example here by clicking the plus icon in our data sources window. So as you can see, this is a centralized place in vMix for all of your data sources. I'm just going to click the plus icon and you can see all of the data sources that are available. We have Excel/CSV files. That's for XLS files and the newer XLSX files. Google Sheets, which is great if you wanted to set up spreadsheets on a separate laptop or somebody on the other side of the world that's managing your data for you. That's all live. You have RSS, which is colloquially known as really simple syndication. It's a data format for blogs, but you can also use it for other sorts of data, such as weather. And text, which is just a simple text file, either on the local computer or on the network. And finally, XML. So we're just going to select text. We just want to add in a text file as a data source. So we can just browse and we can see all of the various files we have on our computer. And we have a file here on our desktop called PickMe. So I'm just going to select that text file. This text file is just a file I created in Notepad, and it has the text "Hello World" in it. So we can just select that, and here you go. You can see the data source is pickme.txt, and it has the content of hello world. And that's it. I've just added that data source, and it's ready to use in any title. And I'll show you how that works. Let's add a title here. Let's add a title that just has one text field. We have this one here, which is just the headline text field. All I have to do is click data source. And from my data source drop-down menu, I can select text. As easy as that. And now hello world appears and is in this data source. So that's automatically brought in. You can assign that data source to as many titles as you like. For sports, you may have a player rundown, or you may have a scoreboard, and you may want them all running to a single spreadsheet that somebody else is maintaining with all of the data for that game. You can bring that all in and associate it to as many titles as you like. So it's a really powerful feature for bringing in data. And you can see here, this title here says hello world, but what if we jumped to our desktop and edited the file? You know, we have hello world, and perhaps we want, you know, hello viewers, like so. And I can just save that, and there you go. The title instantly updates to reflect the updated text. And that's the same for spreadsheets, Google Sheets, RSS. Anytime they update, your data will automatically update. Now I'm going to add an RSS feed to show you how table data works. So you can have multiple different records you can select from. So we'll choose RSS. And we're just going to do our blog. We've got an RSS feed on our blog. For those that don't know about our blog, it's blog.vmix.com, and the RSS feed is at /feed. So I can just do that. After a couple of seconds, it will populate with all of the data. So here we go, we've got all our blog entries. The most recent entry, funnily enough, is IBC 2016 in Amsterdam, where Tim talks about our upcoming visit to IBC, which is all very exciting. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. So now that's in the data sources, I can add a new title for that. Let's choose this one here, and let's make the headline of this one here, let's make it the RSS feed. One thing you can select the column, or you can select auto. Auto, in a nutshell, is just going to assign the columns based on the order they appear in the data source. So this has headline as the first one. It's going to pick the first item in the RSS feed, which just happens to be the title. So you can see the first one there. So that brings in, whoops, I didn't assign that. I've got to click OK. Yep. There we go. So now we have this title. Let's bring it up into the preview so you can see it more clearly. It says See vMix at IBC 2016 in Amsterdam. Now, I'm going to just reduce the font of that just a little bit. Now for the description, I could choose another field in the RSS feed, but I'm going to be a little bit more advanced here and select text. Now I can select the text field as well. So as you can see, in a single title, we are using two data sources, which is pretty amazing. So not only can you use all those data sources in as many titles as you like, you can use them all in a single title quickly and easily. And not only does it bring in the first record, you can assign shortcuts to move around the data, like so. So I can, as you can see here, the title is updating here as I move through the various blog entries. Or I can select auto next. So every 5 seconds, it'll jump to the next record. So you can have a rotation happening as well, just like that. So that's it. That's the data sources feature. A very powerful feature. Lots that you can do with it, particularly with XML. You could create your own website with an XML in whatever format you like, and you can choose what is called
Well, apparently I clipped those guys off a little too quickly. My bad. But that's good, because you need to go to vmix.com or to YouTube and go to vMix and watch the whole show, because there's a lot more to that than just the data sources, or the data sources, and you'll get to catch the last few minutes or the last few seconds of Martin's explanation. My apologies, because I tried to do a quick stop-start on that one before the show started. And obviously I missed the last couple of seconds. Now, I'm sure. Oh, and for those of you watching it that just joined us live on YouTube, go to Eastern Shore Broadcasting for the last few minutes here, and that way you can see the chat room and join in on chat, because there are about 20 or so folks watching live on YouTube. But we're glad you're here. The rumor is, and I've got the rumor from two good sources, that there is a competitive show to this show in the works, and it's coming out of the United States. It's coming out of the state of Indiana, where two characters who think themselves to be broadcasters. I'm teasing. George Price and Merle Dixon are putting together a show that's going to happen on Tuesdays, I think Tuesday afternoons, to talk about streaming and that kind of stuff from a user standpoint, from a real world standpoint. You know George, because George has done lots of reviews of YouTube and other kinds of products. We're glad to have him back. He had a stroke a while back, but he's got his feet back underneath him now. And Merle has put together some really neat shows, not a lot of them, but a lot of thought has gone into them, and has a really great camera setup and a great lighting setup. So the two of them are going to get together and produce some shows where they talk about streaming, and I'm sure they'll talk about vMix, and they'll talk about other things too, cameras and capture cards and Skype and things like that. So I commend it to you. At this point, all we have is a tentative day of Tuesday, and we'll just have to see when they get time, and then a kickoff day. And I will encourage you to watch it either live or on demand later on, because us old guys got to stick together. Yeah, that's all I could say. So if you've made it to the end of this show, because we are at the end, number one, I congratulate you for hanging in there so long. Encourage you to subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube, because you'll get posts that tell us when we post new shows, and that way you'll know what to stay away from. But we'd love to have you come watch us live too, because live is a ton of fun. We're Wednesday afternoons at 3 o'clock Eastern. It's pretty regular schedule. I think we miss a Wednesday, a couple, 3 times a year, but we try not to. And we'd love to have you visit our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, where we have all sorts of cool stuff like vMix software and capture cards and PTZ cameras and things like that you can purchase, or you can just send me a note with the contact form there. Or, believe it or not, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but I put my phone number on there. And my phone number rings right here to my cell phone. So if you want to call and talk to a real person, at least during normal business hours, I'll take your call. And if I'm tied up, leave me a message and I'll call you back. So if you're thinking about getting into the streaming thing, either personally or semi-professionally, or for your church or your school or civic organization, and you're not sure where to start and you want to chat about it, go to Eastern Shore Broadcasting, shoot me an email through the contact form there, or if you're really bold, give me a call. I'd love to chat with you about it. Thanks so much for watching today. I'm really honored for all the folks that showed up in the chat room, folks that showed up live on YouTube, and those of you that are watching YouTube on demand. I take that responsibility pretty seriously, although it still means I screw up from time to time. So with that as a typical ending, for those of you watching live, hang on, we're going to have a great time in the chat room. In the post show. I think Rich is going to have to bring refreshments, because I see he just showed up late, so he'll have to do the refreshments today. But we will catch you guys next time. Okay, take care. That wasn't a bad show. Might have even been a good show. And we are out. Woo! Now, remember, if you're in chat, there's a 29 to 31 second delay right now between you and me. Let's see, that's post-show, so we'll go to that one. And boy, wasn't that a lot of fun? I don't know. It was fun for me. post-show. And I am so excited about, where's my little picture here? I'm so excited about this little guy. He is going to be fun. Now, unfortunately, it's only a loaner, but there are like 124 buttons here, and the little caps come off. Anyway, yeah, there it is. The little cap comes off, so you can put a label underneath it, and the labels can be colored. They can be clear. They can be anything you want them to be. Or, oh, you know what? I had a whole series of pictures that I was going to show about this. Let's see if I can find them here real quick. And you guys, since y'all hung around, you get to see them. Put them in Dropbox. I put them in, what did I put them in? Did I put them under photographs? You would think that would be a good place to put them. Photographs, X keys. Yeah, here they are. Okay. 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 Oh, cool. All right. So we've got, let's don't start with that one. Let's start with that one. Yeah, there we go. All right, so this is the X key controller. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You've kind of already seen that picture. That's one way that you can configure it, where basically, you know, they've just done that for demonstration, so you can see, you know, 1 through 15, 1 through 16 across the top, except where the controller is. But you can pop out some of the buttons and really customize it. And in fact, this even shows an extra little rack that you can kind of pin it on. And yeah, there's another shot of the same thing. So you can see, you know, they're dedicated keys that you can have made that, you know, would span 2 or 3 buttons to make it a really big button. And then yeah, there's a little better shot. It was really funny while I was looking for these pictures, and I had put into Google XKE-124 T-bar, and about 9 pictures came up. I've showed you 5 of them, and this was picture number 6. So somehow that ended up getting classified as as a T-bar shot. Not sure how that worked out. But I think this guy is, yeah, price-wise, I think it's about $750 US. So it's not cheap, but you know, the dedicated vMix controller I think is $2,400. So this guy could be configured, you know, basically any way you want. And there really is a market for somebody, probably not me, but I might take a look at it, in putting together a customized replay controller. What it doesn't have is it doesn't have a jog wheel. So, you know, that might be something that would be really good to have. Somebody says that button did something. Let's see. Oh, yeah, look at that. That button did something. Huh, how about that? So maybe it's left over from what somebody else did. Let's see if any other buttons do something. Nope, it was just that one. So, how about that? It's set up to do a fade. Hey, that's pretty cool. Yep, that'll be fun. Yep, there you go. Oh, Pi Engineering. That's probably Dan is here in the house. Welcome, Dan. Glad to have you. That probably means that Dan has to bring refreshments. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, John's saying about the jog wheel for replay. There you go. There you go. So, Dan, you're going to get some good feedback here from these guys, because these are folks that would be buying. These are buyers, or potential buyers anyway. Let's see, who else showed up when I wasn't looking? Rich, we already nailed Rich. Oh, guest 131. Welcome, 131. Now, you know, 180 kind of has the concept of, you know, 180-degree turn going this way and turn back the other way. And 422, of course, as we all know, except really me, because I don't have a clue, has something to do with video, you know, a 422 video. But 131, what does that mean? What does 131 mean? And now that I'm making fun of them, they disappeared. So I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made fun of you. And guest 31, hi, is really Jill. So there it is. So it is Dan. All right. Welcome, Dan. And again, sorry for the extra delay today. We have to blame that on YouTube. Don't blame that on me. So what else can we say? The board is really cool. The fact that Merle and George are going to do a show, very cool, very cool. Going to be interesting to that. And I wonder, if they're going to take, maybe they'll take call-ins. We could have a call-in show. That would be good. That could be good. Excuse me. Wonderful. Oh, and IPTV Newswire is Ty. So y'all say hi to Ty. Ty's been here several times. Y'all be nice. Whew. Oh, goodness. I'm exhausted. That was such a high energy show. I didn't really know what it was going to be. And I see, we've got 27 folks watching on YouTube. So that's cool. I wonder if the 27 folks watching on YouTube, can I bring this in? Yeah, let's bring this in as a web browser input, and I'll show you what I'm seeing. And go. Yeah, this is what it looks like on YouTube. Now, I see, we've got 27 folks. We'll take off the audio there. And so you see this number. I don't have a way of, well, I do have a way. Let's see if we can do something here. Multi-view. Nope. Position. Let's just blow this sucker up. Can we blow it up? No. Let's blow that up. There we go. So we're looking at this number right there of watching now. Does anybody know whether that number includes the folks that are watching now through Eastern Shore Broadcasting, or is that independent people that are watching now on YouTube? Because here in chat we've got 25 folks, and here on YouTube of watching now. You would think I would turn off the follow you button there. Yeah, so it's up to 28, and this is real time 29. Yeah, well, we can just watch the number go up. But so either for 4 of you or 29 of you that are watching us on YouTube, you can go to easternshorebroadcasting.com, right at the bottom there, and join in the chat. Well, of course, you can see the chat right here, but you can't join in it. So let's see. Let's go back to the chat. Dan asks if it's okay if he puts his email address out here. Absolutely. Absolutely. The folks at Pi Engineering have been very friendly and very helpful. $749 is expensive, but keep in mind this is it's practically a custom piece of equipment. And the idea is not just that it's going to be a piece of hardware that you would use, let's see, where is it? Right here, that you would use like this, but that you would be able to customize it to do basically anything you wanted to, that would even look like this. And that's the benefit of it. So here we've got the equivalent of, maybe the vMix control surface that sells for $2,400 that you can buy for yourself and customize like that for $750 plus the cost of the buttons. All right, Rich says I'm embedding the player, so that's the total. Thank you. That's good. It did go up. Yes. Let's see what's it up to now. Yeah, now we're at 29. Oop, 28 because we lost somebody, but that's okay. It's total viewers, says Kevin. Thank you. Chris says it's embedded. Well, you guys got all the answers. I should have asked y'all first. So I think I think the price. I mean, sure, who wouldn't like it to sell for $250? The question is, what does it take to go into something like this and to make it as flexible as it is so that it'll do as many different things for as many different people? Now, we could have a dedicated controller that had just dedicated buttons on it that was frozen and locked in time. So if the software changed, the control surface, you'd need a new control surface. In this case, it plugs in USB, and I think it's a bomb. I can't wait to plug it in and get it working. Apparently, it's Rich is like $7.49. Wow. Apparently, it's working to some degree. I mean, I've got it plugged in, but I don't have it programmed with any shortcuts yet. Or maybe I've got one. I did program in one. I got to confess, I did program that. It was not left over from the person that sent it to me. All right. Whew. Let's see. For those of you in DK, assuming $80 US shipping, the price would end up being $12.02. Yeah. Yeah. For the casual streamer, yes. For the casual streamer, here is the casual streamer solution. Aha! $50. And this is the old version. This is the Korg Nano Control. They've got the newer versions now that are different button configuration, different slider configuration, different knob configuration. But essentially, it's the same kind of idea where you've got a series of buttons, you've got a series of sliders, you've got a series of knobs, and vMix will recognize all of these and so that you can make them to function. I'm thinking about taking this one up to my church and using it there so that we can adjust the audio. Here we've got the soundboard from the church plugged directly into my laptop. So we don't have a mixer away. I mean, we can adjust the volume in vMix, but it's much easier on a physical surface. So I want to be able to adjust the volume and to be able to switch cameras and maybe do some other things. Oh yeah, do some overlays, that kind of stuff. So that's going to be fun. Let's plug this guy back in. There he is, plugged in. Okay, there we go. Dan's already got a solution that there is a distributor in the UK that can help so the shipping costs wouldn't be as bad because they can ship a pallet load of them over there. And Dan, did you put your email address in the chat? Oh, and I was going to put the address of Windows, the new version, in the chat. Let's see. Let's see if I can copy this and it'll copy correctly. This is the SKYPE 726 0.101. There you go. So if you're having trouble with Skype, download that one and that should fix it until Skype gets version 7.27 figured out. Okay, Ty, yes, this is MIDI. As for version, I don't know. Dan maybe could answer that because Dan is the man from Pi Engineering. Let's see what else. John L. says the shipping from the U.S. is quite expensive, and toll and VAT are calculated on the price plus shipping cost. Isn't that something? I mean, here in the States, generally when their tax is assessed, sales tax is what we would call it here, the shipping is not part of the sales tax amount. But, it's a government thing, The government's decided how they want to choose to collect sales tax. Now, Mike, don't steal all of Dan's thunder because he will be on the show next week. And and we'll. In fact, we can talk about we can talk about more than just the XKE 124. We can talk about his whole line for that matter. Toll is 15. Value added tax is another 25. Holy cow! Gee whiz, you'd be better off digging one up out of your backyard. I mean, that's oppressive tax. Wow. Ah, okay. Dan corrects me. The X keys are not MIDI. They're USB HID, which vMix treats as MIDI. Huh. Very good. Stuff in the U.S. usually costs about half what it costs in the U.K. for dollars converted to pounds, converted to dollars after the taxes. Skype is a page missing. Yeah, you know what? I wondered about that. Let's see if we can't do better. Let's go there. Let's try that. Sorry about that. Can you use X keys for MIDI plus HID at the same time? Oh, interesting. Interesting. See, I wouldn't have thought to ask that question. I'll let you guys get all that stuff figured out. Tom, my video source looks great. Well, that's good, Ty. And the secret is, you ready for the secret? The secret is I'm a cheapskate. That's right. It is a Canon Vixia HF R200 that cost me $112 on eBay. The current version of the Canon Vixia HF R series is the 700, I believe, which is about $269 on Amazon. And it's going into a Intensity Pro, Blackmagic Intensity Pro card that I got off of eBay for $80, which they don't really make anymore. They make the Intensity Pro 4K version. The difference is that this card, the Intensity Pro, is a single, when you're talking about your PCIe slots, it's a single lane slot, so it's one of the little small slots. The 4K version now is one of the, I think it's a 4 slot, a 4X slot is required for that one. So it doesn't fit in everything. So, but anyway, I got this one cheap, and so, yep, that's what it is. It's the HDMI output of the camera going into the HDMI input on the Intensity Pro. Ty and I talked about the Intensity Pro shuttle earlier today and some of the troubles that she was having with that. The camera model is a Canon HF-R 200. And it's a good little camera. It's just a little handy cam. It's not big or fancy. I've got 3 of them in the studio. 2 of them are 100s and 1 of them is 200. Yes, Dan, post your email again, please. That would be good. All right, 180 is asking about Whoza.io since Blab.im went out of business. Whoza.io can stream to Facebook Live with 4 people. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Of course, you can stream to Facebook Live with 4 people if you have vMix, and you don't have to use anything else. You can just go straight to Facebook Live. All right, Rich says, hey, sure, great shows. Also, a regular day job is calling. Go for it, dude. You got it. All right, and the refreshments are mixed nuts and lemonade. I got it. I got that one. It didn't have to give me a hint on that one. I got that. All right, let's see. No big advantage that comes from our origin as a PC controller. We never had a MIDI option. Well, there you go. There you go. So good sharing of information. That's great. That's great. That's what I like to see. I mean, how often, when you think about it realistically, of the 23 people that are in chat right now and the 6 other people that are watching live on YouTube, on the YouTube page, how many of us have met face to face? I mean, how many of us have bumped into each other at the bus station or the airport, or have had dinner together, or done anything where we would be eyeball to eyeball? I'm looking down the list of all these folks that I know, and I don't know that I've met any of you guys personally. But yet, with this wonderful medium, we get to exchange information, and to have relationships, business relationships, personal relationships, valuable relationships. I'm delighted. Okay, so Ty is asking about the Asus laptop, the ROG laptop, the GL series, the 750, 751, or 752. Because she's got a 752 and she can't get the StarTech Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 2 adapter to work, and she can't get the Intensity Pro shuttle to work. And the shuttle works fine on her Mac, but it won't work on her Asus. I think the shuttle is a POS, a dog, as I told her, but that's just me. And I mean, I think the Intensity Pro card is great. Now, it's a little quirky to get installed, and maybe the shuttle's the same way. But I do remember that, who was it? That Joe and I went through, had to really jump through some hoops to get his Asus GL752 to work through that Thunderbolt port. We had to update the BIOS on that one. John L. says, we can make a Google Hangout. Merle's, Giles, and I have tested it. It kind of works. It kind of works. That sounds like this show. It kind of works when the host works. Oh, my goodness. Well, tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me. Delighted to hear and see. All right, Giles says that reminds him, what model of laptop is my Asus ROG laptop? It is a G751, J as in John, T as in Tom. And how well does it cope with running vMix? Currently, it is receiving an NDI feed from, let me give you the shot. Oops, here we go. It's receiving an NDI feed from my production PC, and you can see it right back there, through my network, and it is rebroadcasting that, streaming that over Skype, and over the internet, and recording. The total CPU is 15%. Not recording. The total CPU is 12%. So I'd say it's doing pretty darn well. I've had 4 HD cameras on it through my Bolt 4, that Thunderbolt device that brings in 4 HD cameras. And I've run instant replay on it, and I've thrown everything at it. Now, it does have the latest BIOS from Asus. It does have the Windows 10 anniversary update. It does have vMix 17.0.0.107, so it's got the latest, greatest. And in fact, I think I saw this morning that NVIDIA had released a new driver for the NVIDIA cards. So if you have NVIDIA cards, I should have mentioned that during the show. If you have NVIDIA cards, you'll want to go ahead and check and make sure, because the new driver I think it was just released this morning or yesterday. Let's see what it says. Check for updates. we'll let it check for updates and tell us what we have and then what the next one is. Because I think the previous update from NVIDIA was August 15th, and the new update is August 20th. Excuse me, August 30th. Well, that's today. So yeah, I'm going to make that update later. Had I known about it, you know I'd have made it right before the show. Oh my goodness. All right. Now I sound like a Grease song. Oh my goodness. Chris says, yes, Pi Engineering, I will keep the wake on the, okay, you guys are talking. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. John says, with Hangout, you can publish a URL and everyone can just click it to participate. Well, that's good. Okay. All right. Giles says, thanks, Tom. Sounds pretty good. How many USB 3 ports does it have, and have you connected several cameras to it via USB 3? Let's look. It has 4, I think they're all, yep, 4 USB 3 ports, 1 Thunderbolt 1 or 2 port, 1 HDMI out, and 1 VGA out, and then the microphone, headphone, and then dual jack. Battery life is about 2.5 hours, which is good because it's a beast of a PC. You know, I mean, I couldn't lift it with one hand, barely. But I sure wouldn't want to do it more than a time or two. I have never. I'll check that. I've used the Magwell little dongle. Let's see. I got it right here. Yep. The USB 3 dongle. This happens to be the SDI version, and I've had that on there, and that works great. But I've never had more than one on USB 3. The question would be, you know, as always, you know, how many USB 3 controllers are there in there, and then how many HD cameras can you get per controller? And I've never really tried that. I'll try that sometime. Because I've got, well, I've just got the one USB capture card. Yeah. Okay. 4, that's good. I like the sound of this machine. Would you buy another one? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I'm thinking about buying a second one. Right now I've got this one, and then I've got the production PC, which is a second generation i7 2600K, and then I've got 2 rack mount PCs right here in the same closet with the production PC that are 2700K based PCs, and I use those for my you know, my Skype machines, but they're running Zoom, so I'm bringing in a guest on each one of those. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Coming up, maybe we'll talk about it next week. I've got a client that I'm doing some remote production for. So essentially, they are doing a talk show like this, and they are interviewing a guest. And so their video and audio is coming to me, and the guest's video and audio is coming to me, and I'm mixing it all up, sending it back to them, and recording it as a show. And it just it's stellar. The audio is superb. The video is crisp. I'm very pleased with the way it's come out. But we've spent a little while kind of working behind the scenes to get it just right. The question is, you know, is a guest going to be able to? I mean, you've seen some of the guests on my shows. You know, they're just, and Dan was telling me the other day, I think we've got a laptop somewhere here, because Dan's going to come on the show next week. I think we've got a laptop somewhere that's got a camera in it, and so in that sense, sometimes it's difficult for the guest to come up with a video that looks like, with video quality rather that looks like they're in a studio, which of course is what we want. All right, Dan's answering some questions in chat. John says, I fancy something a bit more mobile. At the moment I lug a 4.4 gigahertz 8-core CPU PC around, which works brilliantly, but it's a big lump and some extra wires. Well, this is a big lump. I mean, it's a laptop. It fits in a backpack. But it's a big lump. All right. Oh yeah, Dan's got to help me get this T-bar set up. Yeah, we'll do that right after the show. We're folding up now. But thank you, Dan, for popping in. I really appreciate that. Yeah, listen to Giles and John moan. He's got to haul an HP Z600 with dual Xeons around. Oh. You guys, I tell you what, y'all kill me. It's like we're supposed to feel sorry for you because yeah, exactly. Heavy is okay. You just want it to be bulletproof so that if you accidentally kind of drop it, it's not a big deal. All right. Well, we might ought to fold these tents here. So, unless anyone else has got business before this tribunal, checking over the list to see if there's anybody that came in late that we need to reprimand. No, I'm just teasing. First world problems, indeed. Indeed. Yeah. 10 years ago, you couldn't have done this. Not with something you could carry with two handles. 50 years ago, people would laugh at you. They'd lock you up. Mike's got the solution there. Put them on wheels. Hey, now wheels, that's an invention we understand. It doesn't have to be bulletproof. Well, John's wife, that's really oversold. I've lived in the U.S. my whole life, and I have never, ever seen somebody with a gun, holding it, pointing it at somebody else. I've seen police officers with guns on their belts. I've seen folks that are going hunting with guns, of course. But I've never seen somebody pulling out a gun in any circumstance. Now, if you go on the news, the U.S. is just overrun with guns. And I live in the gun capital of the world. I guess Texas is probably the gun capital of the world, but Alabama's not far behind in terms of, concealed carry permits. That's the ability to have a gun on your person that nobody can see. It's not quite as they say in the news. In fact, it's nowhere close to how they say it in the news. A rack mount kit. Oh, there you go. That's cool. The media is the media is the media. I remember 30 years ago, 35 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, when I was in college, the journalism class that I taught, the guy was a former Associated Press reporter, and he said, here it is. If it bleeds, it leads. If it's a disaster, it's the front page news. Steve's got a question. Is anyone using the Uon high-tech UB5A0N4 hybrid one-channel multi-interface plus SDI USB 3 capture box? Ooh, that's a mouthful. I am not, Steve. I don't think I've heard of it, but that's interesting that it's 4-channel going into one USB 3. That's cool. think there are equally many guns in Sweden and Finland per capita. Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, guns, guns aren't a bad thing, I don't think. I mean, people can kill people with anything. Knives, cars, machetes, your hands. Yep. Yup, yup. Well, boys and girls, it's been a treat to be with you today. I look forward to being with you again next week. Dan's going to be with us, so you've already got a taste of that, so that'll be a lot of fun. And you're welcome to stay and chat as long as you want. What was it? Giles and John were chatting last week, hours after the show. I went back and popped in on them a couple hours later, and they were still talking away. So, good night, Chris. Yes, Chris is in the latest time zone, I think. And Giles and the wife. So, we will catch you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in. And Ty, I will see you tomorrow. And we will get everything fixed, I hope. A Roomba? No. Oh, I have a Roomba, but I don't do the Roomba. But my Roomba is spelled like that. It's a little vacuuming robot. It's amazing. Okay. All right, and I will, I'm just going to pop something back up on the screen so that you guys know, but we're going to let this roll for another few minutes just to finish out in case it buffered for you. And we'll let this go. How about we'll just put up the chat right there. There you go, and I'll put on a little background music for you. So we'll see you soon.